financial condition of the
Hello. Am I audible, team? Shiva, Jay, Rashi. If anyone will confirm.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay. Yeah. Am I audible properly?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Share my screen. You have logged in into the system. So yesterday we are seeing that okay how we can go and do that mix of that integrations, right? That okay from post we can call the get, and from get we can call the post, right? So that we have seen yesterday. Let me just go back to that integration. This is what we have created, right? So we have seen that from get to post, right? We can go and call, right? And how we can go, and we have changed our parameters, right? Now when we are doing the rest thing, right? So there are two types of thing. If you see, right? If we come to this one, suppose we will go with the get, right? So in the get, right? If you see, there are two types of methods. So one is like we don't have the request payload, we will directly have the response payload. Then if you see, right, in the request also, right? If you see, one is this one, right? List users, right? In this one, if you see, right, the parameter is passing in the queue, right? Question mark page is equal to 2, right? And then second is this one, right? Directly slash 2, right? So what are these two things, right? So these are the two different types of parameters, right? So it is a parameter only, but two different ways of passing it is, right? So this, right, which is come as a queue, right? So this is a query parameter, right? What is a query parameter? It means like it will have the question, then you will write the value, like the key, and then you will write the value, right? So that is a query parameter. And this type of parameter, right, we used to call as a template parameter, right? It means here the placeholder will be there, in that one the value will go, right? So that is what we have, the placeholder value, right? So we'll see how we can go and create these two different types of integrations, right? So if you see, right, the one which we created yesterday, right? I think this one, cannot this one. Yes, if you see, right, in this one, right, when we passed this one, right, so it was coming as a question mark, right? So this was that query parameter, right? Let us come into our one, and what we'll do, right, we'll go and create one more integration. I will say rest query parameter. This is our query parameter thing, right? And we'll go and put into our package and create. As we know, right, first what we need to do, right, we need to put that trigger connection, right? So we can come here and we can put the rest trigger connection, which is this one, right? So we can come here and we can go and call this as a start. Then we can say continue. Then we can say relative endpoint URI is going to be slash start, and we will define the here method, right? Get method. So in the get method, right, whenever we define here, right, so that is going to be the query parameters. So if you see, right, we will define the response. So what we'll do, right, we'll go and use this one first. And delete this one. So we'll go and use this one, right? Query parameter. The list of all users, right? So it means on the page 2, right? Whatever the users we have, right? So all those things we are going to use, right? So we'll use get method. Then we'll say we need a parameter and we need a response, right? Then we can say continue. So parameter is going to be the page number, right? So if you see right here, it is mentioning specify query parameters. So in this page, if you are creating any new thing, right? So that what it will be become, right? So that will become the query parameter, right? So we can say, so this is our custom parameter, right? So what I do, right? I can write page number complete, right? I can give any name here, right? We can say string. We can say continue. Now we need to configure the response, right? So in the response, right, what we'll do, we'll go and use the JSON, and what JSON will use, right? We'll go and use this much, right? So we can say this is what final output will look like, right? So we can go and we can go and paste this one, right? So this is our own one, right? So if you wanted to change the name and all, right, so we can go and change name, right? So suppose here we can say, right, current page count per page, then total record, total pages we can have, and then these are right. And here also, right, if you wanted to modify, right, we can go and modify. We can add employee ID, employee email, employee first name, employee last name. Okay. And then maybe employee avatar, right? So this is what we have done, right? So what we do, right, we will go and use this type of thing, right? And like it is this data, right, it is an array, right, if you see, right? So in this one, right, whether you define one or multiple, right, it is going to be same, right? So what we do, right, we can go and remove all these things, right, because it is an array, right? So we just need to define. So we have defined one, so that is okay, right? So this is what we have done, right? So this is our custom response which will come, right, because this we are putting at the triggered level, right? So we can say continue, and we can say continue, finish. So we can go and change the layout. Let's save it. So we're done. Now we are getting one error because of the business identifier. So we can go and modify the business identifier. So we can come here. We can come to the query parameter and we can say page number. And we can go and do the save. So this is what we have done. Now what we do, right? There is no error as of now, right? Now what is the one thing, right? We need to call this, right? The invoke one, right? So we can come here and we can say the invoke one. So this is the invoke one, right? We have B20 REST request, right? So we can go and use our invoke connection. What we do, right? We can say get all users. And what is the relative endpoint URL, right? So relative endpoint URL, we have to give the same. So we have to give like /API/users. Now if you see, right, in this one, right, we have this also, right? Question mark page is equal to 2, right? So we don't have to give this complete thing, right? What we have to do, right? We just have to give the and relative point. This is the query parameter, right? So this will generate, right? So this will go and pass as a parameter. So what we do right here, we can write /API/users. I hope it is a users. Yeah, users, right? So only up to this much we will write, right? And what is one? This is a get method, right? So it is a get method. What will have, right? It will have the parameter and it will have the response, right? So we can say we need a parameter, we need a response, right? Now we can go and click into the continue. Now we can go and define the query parameter here, right? So what we do, right? So this is the endpoint, and on top of this one, right, query parameter will be, right? So we can say query parameter. Now what is that query parameter? It will be, so the query parameter, right, we can go and use the page, right? And here, right, it is going to be the same name, right? So whatever we are using here, right? So same name we need to go and use here, right? So it is a page, right? So we can say continue. Then here we need to define our response. So here the response is going to be the same. We will not modify here because now this is from the third party it is committed. So here we need to keep as it is response, right? We can say continue, continue, and finish. So we have done. We can click into save. Now what we do, right? Whatever the input, right, value we have, right, that we need to pass to this one, so that okay, it will bring the records, right? So we can come to the mapper and we can come to the our parameter. So if you see, right, both the sides, right, we have created query parameter, right? So here also query parameter got created and here also, right? So we can come. So our one was page number and the third party was the page, right? So we can go and map, validate. Now we can come back. Now we can come back again here. So here we will have the response wrapper. So we can see here. So if you see, right, these are our custom names, right? Whatever we have given, because this is the output from our API, and the output from this one, right, where it will we can get. So we have to get we have to see the name, right? Get all users, right? Then one is the request and one is the response. So from the response, right, the output will be available. So we can go to the response part, execute response, response wrapper, and then right here we will have all those things, right? So we can go and map page to current page, per page to the count per page, total records, and total pages. So we did one by one, right? Now can we do for this one, right? Directly, right? So this is what we did, right? So, but if you say it in this one, right, we will get these one, right? So what will happen for this one, right? So what we do, right? I can just go and delete this back, delete target, right? So what we happen, right? We need to map these ones, right? So we'll do ID to employee ID, email to employee email, right? Then first name to first name, last name to last name, and then employee avatar row. So for example, right, I will not do, right? So one thing, right? Is it mandatory to put all those things? No, it is not mandatory that okay, we need to put all the things or all the mapping, right? So suppose for this one, right, like for employee avatar and for support, right, I'm not putting, right? So what will happen, right, with this one, right? So we can do the validate. It is validated, right? It means it is working fine, right? So we have not done some mapping, right? So what will happen if we don't do mapping, right? Now we will go and save. Now let us go and do the testing, right? We have done the mapping here. We have done the mapping here, right? So what will happen, right? We can come back here and we can go and activate this one. Fresh. Now run. Page number, right? So we can go and pass the page number 2 and we can go and click into run. If you see, right, what is happening, right? We are getting some error, right? If you see, we are getting some error, right? And where we are getting this error? So let us go. So if you see it, up to here it is working fine, right? So in the final step, right, we are getting. So if you see invoke get all user, right? So from third party, right, we are getting the data. If you see from the third party, right, we are getting the data correctly, right? But where we are getting that error, right? So when we are returning the final output, right? So that time, right, we are getting this error, right? So what is happening, right? Somewhere some issue is happened, right? Now what is the issue, right? So first I will explain you that, okay, what, like how we, like what is the issue we happen. If you see right here, the issue, right? The issue is because of this one, right? So if you see right here, we are getting that output, right, into multiple objects, 7, 8, 9, right? So, and if you see right here, as if you try to understand the error, right? If you see, cannot write AND element employee ID. The data does not conform to the NXT schema. Please correct the schema. So it means for that employee ID field, right, there is some issue, right? So from third party, right, we are getting this data, right? And it was our number field, right, ID. But in our case, if you see, right, just give me 1 second. Yeah. So I was saying that, right, this employee ID, right, it was a number field. And if you said here what it is happening, right, it is coming 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Everything is coming into one only, right? If you see, same with the email also, right? All the emails are coming into one. Same way with the first name, right? Now the error is happening because of this one, right? Because if you see 7 space 8, right, there is no number, right? 7 is a number, 8 is a number, right? But 7 space 8, right? There is no number. So because of that one, right, we are getting the error. We are not getting the error in this string parameters, right? Because with this space also, right, string is acceptable, right? So first we'll see, right, if we can, like, what is the issue for that one and what we can do the fix, right? So we can come back, deactivate this one. We can come back here. So first we will try to change the method of the parameter, right? That okay? We can come back here. In the response, right, we can go and change that from number to the character. So this was our right employee ID. So this we can go and change with the character, right? Now we can say continue, continue, and finish. And we can do the save here, right? So we done the save. Now we can come back out. So this time let me go and see, activate, and we'll see, right, whether it will give the error or it will work fine. So we can come back here, run. So we'll use the 2 and we are doing here. So this time, right, if you see, right, we are not getting that error, right? We are getting 200 okay. And if you see, right, we are getting that output, right? So it means like now there's no error and output we are getting. But the issue, right? Issue is not that it is not coming in the correct format, right? Previously we are getting the error because it was a number. So 7 space 8, right? So in the characters, right, we can accept the space but not in the number field, right? So now we modified and it is working fine, right? But our output is not correct, right? So why it is not coming, right, when we did the mapping, right? So if you see it from third party, right, we are getting the multiple objects, right? We are getting the data into separate items. But when it is coming into our one, right, it is not doing, right? So why it is not happening, right? It is not happening because we miss one mapping, right? So why? Because this was an array, right? So for array, right, we have to map also. Let me go and show you that one, what I am talking about. And whatever the change we did, right? So that is kind of a patch, right? That is not a correct change, right? So what we'll do, right? We'll go and revert that change also. So that change I did only to just show that, okay, we can work, right? Because the issue was because of that number and all, right? So first, whatever the change we did, right, we can go and revert that one because that is not the correct change. So we can come back here and we can say, okay, it is coming output, that is okay, but I don't need that output, right? I need number field only here. So we can come back here, employee, continue and finish. We can go to the save. Now we can come here and the issue is coming because of this one. So if you come to the response wrapper, right? Yeah. If you see right here, we did this mapping, right? One by one mapping we did, right? Like ID, employee name and all, right? But what was happening, right? This data field, right? This data in an array, right? If you go and see, right? Data, right? It is an array, right? In that one, right? We will get multiple objects, right? So what we did right here, from here, right? We will get array, right? Multiple objects will get, right? But here it was going into one only, right? Why? Because if 10 objects will come, all 10 are going into one. So if you see, right, the difference between into these one, right? When it is a single object, right? It is a like box will come. When it is a array kind of thing, right? It will come as a collection, right? This is a collection what we have, right? Or you can say unbounded array, right? Or you can say array, right? So whenever, right, it is kind of a array, right? So this is a parent and this is all the child object, right? So we have done the mapping for child, right? But we have not done the mapping for parent. It means like we have to do the parent mapping also. So first we need to do the child mapping and then we have to do the parent mapping also, right? So now suppose if I will do, right, just try to see the message, right? What message will come? If you see, child mappings were automatically adjusted due to changes to the for each statement, right? So what is happened, right? It means for each statement got added. It means if 10 will be there here, right? So 10 will come here also, right? So that is what we have here, right? So we can do undo the validation, right? Now we'll go and test it out whether this will work or fine. So whenever it is an array object, right? We always have to remember this one that okay, we have to do the mapping for the parent also. Otherwise, what will happen, right? Whatever the issue we just got, right? That okay, from source, right? We will get multiple. But like when we put into one, right? So it will try to put everything into one only, right? So we just have to remember always that okay, this is that issue. Now we can go into the activate, refresh. Now we can go and run this one. So I will do 2 this time and click into run. So if you see, right, we are getting the 200 equa. And if you see that output, right? So the output is coming in the correct format, right? It is coming into the different arrays, right? So that is how we can go and do, right? So we just have to keep in mind when it is a array, right? We have to map the parent also, right? First we have to map the child and then we have to map the parent, right? Now in this one, right, if you see, right, we have not mapped the avatar, right, and support. So what is happening, right? So those things are not coming itself, right? So that is what will happen, right? So if you don't do the mapping, right, what will happen, right? That object itself will go away, right? If you do the mapping, right, it will come. If you don't do the mapping, right, it will not come, right? So that is what will happen when you don't when you will not do the mapping, right? Now suppose you need the tag, but you don't need the value into that one, right? Because it can be different scenario, right? One is like we need, right? So when we need, we will do the mapping. It will come back, right? One is like we don't need itself, right? So when we don't need itself, right? The key itself, right? Key and value both, right? So like this one we will do, right? We'll not do the mapping itself. But now you say that, okay, we need the key, but we don't need the value into that one, right? So how we can go and do that one, right? So we can come back here. We can say activate. Now we'll go back. We can come to the mapper. So in this one, if you check. So when we don't need, right? What we'll do, right? We'll not do the mapping itself, anything, right? When we just need the key, right? what will happen, right? For example, for this one I will do, right? Like we in the support, right? We need this URL, right? We don't need this text. We just need this URL, and employee avatar we don't need, right? So if we just need that one, right? What we need to write? We need to create a target node. So we can say create target node. So what will happen, right? Now this target node will be created, but we have not done any mapping. So what will happen, right? This will come as a blank. Now for this one, right? If you see, right? We have not created any target node, anything, right? So what will happen, right? This will not come. Same way with the employee avatar also, right? It will not come. If you need that exact information, we can do mapping. When we don't need itself key and value both, we'll not do the mapping. When we just need that key, right? Placeholder we need, values we need blank, right? So that time we can just go and create a blank one, right? So now if you see, I will do the validate. Save. Now let us come back out and activate. And run. So if you see, right, if you go to the end, right? Now if you see, right, we are getting the support, right? And in the support, right, we are getting the URL, right? But it is a empty, right? So if you see it from third party, right, we are getting the value, right? In the support or URL tag, right? If you see, right, where is that one? Yeah, this was our support, right? So in this one, in the URL, right, we are getting that value, right? But in our case, right, there is no value, right? Because we just created a target node, we have not done the mapping. Then for the next one, right, for the text, right, we have not done the map, we have not created the target node also, right? So due to that reason, right, this value will not come, right? That is how we can go and take care of this one, right? And the query parameter which we see, right, it will come like this one, right? Question mark is equal to 2, right? Now suppose we need to write same thing, right, in the parameter, right? So query parameter we see, right, when we will configure that one, and then the query parameter will come, right? Now what about the template parameter, right? How that will come, right? So now let us come back here and we'll create one more integration. Template para 07. We'll go and put into 21 and create. We'll go and use our REST connection, trigger connection. We can say start and continue. Then here we can say slash start. So we are doing right. Now if you see it, we need to define the template parameter. So where we can go and define it, because this one, right, this place will go and define the query parameter, right? So there is no other way, right? So if you see it after this tag, if you see it, specify the relative path associated with the resources, right? The path must start with a slash, right? So start and can contain template parameters. So if you see it, what it is showing, right? It is showing can contain template parameter, right? Specified with the curly braces. For examples, curly braces order ID. The path must not contain the query parameter, right? So it means if it has the query parameter, right, we don't need to define here. But so query parameter, right? Question mark query is equal to value, right? So if it's kind of a question mark and all right, we don't need to define here. But if it is a one, right? So for example, if I will go and remove this one, right? So if you see right in the sample, right, it is mentioned, right? Slash orders slash order ID slash item ID. So this item ID and slash order ID, right, is the template parameter, right? So I will go and put our one start. So this time, right, we'll go and use this one, right? Single user, right? So this is our parameter, right? So what I will do, right? This is the user, right? I will say slash start slash, I will say in the curly braces employee ID. So this is how we need to pass the template parameter, right? It means in the URL itself, right? We need to go and put that one, right? So this is our template parameter. Now, if you said once I will come out from this one, right? This is going to be automatically selected and it will gray out, right? It means it is going to be disabled, right? Let us just come out. So if you say it got selected and it got grayed out. Now selected is okay, right? This is a parameter, right? But why it got grayed out, right? It got grayed out, right? Why? Because suppose here you put the template parameter, right? And if you don't select this one, right? What will happen, right? It will never go to the next page, right? So how the next page will look, right? So I will say response, click into continue. So if you said this is the our one, right? And if you scroll down, right? Now the template parameter section will come. So this one will this will come only if we define the parameter, right? Suppose if I will come back, right? And if I will remove this one, right? That okay, we don't, if I don't put, right? Whether that section will come? No, that section itself will not come, right? Let us see. So this was selected. If you see, right, now only this much we are getting, right? Up to query parameter section only, and there is no template parameter section it is coming. So what will happen, right? If we define here, right, then what will happen, right? Automatically the template parameter section will come, and whatever we have defined, right, so that will be created as a variable. So if you see, right, now template parameter is coming. So we can go and define the here the parameter type of the parameter. And if you see it, displays the template parameter in the relative source. Template parameters are determined by details you specify on the basic page, right? And it cannot be edited. So if you see it, name and all, right? If you wanted to make any change, right? We cannot go and do. Now suppose we need to create one more template parameter, right? Can we create directly? No. So how we can do? We have to come back here, and here only we need to give, right? So for example, I will say test parameter, right? So this is my parameter name, right? If I will go and click into continue, right? So now what will happen, right? The new parameter will also create, right? So template parameter, right, will be created from the basic page only, from the previous page only, and those things will come here directly, right? So this is how we can go and do that one, right? So we can go back. We don't need this one. So this is what we are, right? We can go and click into continue again, right? So this is how we can go and define. Can we go and define both the things? Yes. Query parameter also we can add, and template parameter also we can add. So with this one, right, first we'll see the template parameter only. We can go and click into continue. Now we can come here and we'll modify the output. So this is our output will look, right? So we can say this is our output. So we'll have that as it is. We can change this employee ID, employee email. Only these two fields I'm changing. Rest all let it have same. Continue and continue. Finish. Let it load. Okay, let me refresh. I think it got stuck. Save. So what is, we'll go and check once. So everything it is coming here. A response we have, right? Yeah. So everything is okay. So discard. Now we have created this one, right? Now we need to define the business identifier, right? Because it is giving that error, right? So we can come here, business identifier, we can go and define. We can come to the parameter and we can put the employee ID here. Now we can go and save it. So it is done, right? Now what we need to do, right? We need to define the invoke connection, right? So we can come here and we can say here invoke connection. So this is our REST request connection. This is our REST request connection. And we can say here what we are doing, right? Get a single user we are doing, right? So we can give the name get user. Relative endpoint URI we need to part, right? So what is it is /API /users /then. So now what will define the template parameter, right? So in this scenario, right, you can give any name, right? So we can write /API /users /. So for example, right, I will write here user ID, right? You can give any name, right? Because in this one, right, we are not specified. In the query parameter, right, we need to give that exact name because it is defined here. But in this case, right, we just need to pass the value runtime, right? So parameter value, right, name, you can go and put anything. So here I'm putting the user ID, right? It is a get method. We configure the response. We'll say continue. So the template parameter section will come here. Now we can say continue back. And we can go and define the response here. The response, we need to put that exact here. And we can go and click into continue and finish. So it's done. We can save it first. Now we'll do the mapping. So we can come here. So if you see this time, right, it is not coming here query parameter. It is showing as a template parameter, right? So based on the parameter, right, it will go and change, right? And in our one, right, we have written employee ID and here we have written the user ID, right? So we'll go and map employee ID to the user ID. We can do the validate, come back. Same thing, we'll do the final output also. So it is in the response wrapper. So if you see, right, that it will be available into the data field right here. And here we can come response, right? So this is our response. So we need to map these items, right? So we say employee ID, employee email, avatar, last name, and first name. Now, if you see it was inside the data, right? If you see it, this was inside the data, right? But it is not an array, right? So do we need to do the mapping for the parent also here? Let us see. If I will do the mapping, right? If you see, right, I'm not able to place, right? I'm getting complex node can only be mapped if both source and target are repeating element, right? So if you see it, here it is not an array, right? If you see the difference, right? Both are having the same, right? So this data was not an array, right? So because of this one, right? This time, right, we cannot do the mapping for the parent, right? We don't do the parent mapping, right? Support I am not doing, right? So we'll do validate. So when it is a array, right? So that time only we need to do so that, okay, it will consider as a repeating element or it will do the one by one, right? So we can save. Now we can come back out. We'll do the activate. And refresh. So we did, right? Now we can go and run that integration. So this time if you see, right, it is coming here like this one, right? So if I will do right anything, right? So what will happen, right? That will go and attach here. So this will not come as a question mark, right? Question mark query is equal to, right? This will come this one, right? So we can go and test it out. So we are getting that output, right? Support we are not done, right? So support will not come. Avatar it is coming, right? So this is how, right, we can go and define the template parameter and the query parameter, right? So it is working fine. Now, can we do the interchange, right? So first we will say, right, can in one integration, right, we can call the both, right? Template and query parameter, right? So let us see. I will make a clone of this one. So I will say template. I will write both query slash template parameter, right? Both we are putting into our package and clone. We can come back here. Now what we'll do, right? Can we go and create the query parameter also, right? So we'll see, we can come here. We already know, right, where we need to define the query parameter, right? So here, right, this is the one, right? So let us go and define one query parameter also, right? And I will this say query param, right? For example, this is the name, right? We can say string. We can click into continue and finish. So we are not doing, right? We will just say that, okay, or maybe, right, I can give the correct name itself. So here employee ID, for example, right here I will write the user ID. Continue and finish. Now we can go and save, right? So what we did, right? We did the query parameter also and we did this template parameter, right? Now we can go come here, activate and activate. So if you see, right, in this one, right, both the things will start coming. If you see, employee ID is also coming and user ID is also coming, right? It will, if I will put right here 1 2 and this I will write 99, right? So if you see /12, right? So that is a template parameter, right? So suppose I will not put this one, right? So this will come, right? So it means like both the things we are able to do, right? Both the things we can go and put into one, right? If you need to put, right? So this time we are able to know, right? Now both we can do, right? Is it possible that, okay, it should be a query parameter only in both the place, right? So we'll go and modify this one. So what will happen, right? This one, right? This is a template parameter, right? So in at invoke, right? As of now, right? What is happening? Our trigger is also template parameter. Invoke is also template parameter, right? The invoke part, trigger part, right? We'll go and modify, and we'll see that it will accept the value from the query parameter, right? So we can come here, and this mapping, right? Here we have. So we'll go and change this mapping here. So as of now, right? Both are coming from the template, right? Let us go and delete this one. And what we do, right? We'll go and try to put this query parameter, and we'll see whether this will work or not, right? So in our invoke, right? It is a template parameter, right? But from our trigger, right? It is a query parameter, right? So it is kind of that mix and match, right? So we'll see whether this will work or not, right? Come back, save. Activate. Now we can go and run. So this time we know, right? In the user ID, if we pass, right? So this is our template parameter, right? Query parameter, right? So we pass in the query parameter, it came here. And now if we go and run, right? See, we are getting employee ID 2, right? If I will pass here 3, so employee ID 3 record will come. So 3 record. It means it is working fine, right? If I will go and put value here 2, right? And we do run, right? So still we are getting 3 only, right? Because query parameter is the one, right, which is taking care, right? So this is how we need to do, right? That, okay, if you wanted to do the mix match, right, that, okay, from our trigger, right, it is a query parameter, but in the invoke, right, it is a template parameter, right? So that will also work because that just need the parameter only, right? So that is how we can go and do the mix match also, right? Now, if you said we did this one, right? And if you see the name of this one, right? Name of this integration, right? It is kind of a wrong name, right? Because we did, right? So in case if you wanted to rename this as a later point of time, right? Can we do, right? So let us see. We don't have the rename here, right? So how we can do the rename, right? We can come inside. So in the edit mode, right? We cannot do. We need to deactivate first. Now if you say still it is not coming, right? Here. If you see, right? There is no place, right? So how we can go and do that one change? So we can come here and this settings option, right? Primary information. So from here we can go and change, right? So for example, right? We can go and change. And what will happen, right? Only name we can go and change, not the identifier. Identifier it is going to be always same. Only the name we can go and change. So if you see, right? Previously the name was like this one, right? Now we can go and do the save. So name got changed, right? So this is how we can go and change the name at later point of time in case if we need to change, right? So that is what we have here. The query parameter name we can go and modify it. And these are the like how we see how we can define our query parameter, how we can define our template parameter, and we have seen right how we can do the array also, right? If we don't do that array, right, what issues we can get and how we can do that one, right? So that's all for today's session. So if anyone has any questions, we can go and take those questions now.
So for single user, we didn't map the data array field, right? So in case in response, if we get duplicate data for the same user, like 2 records, if we get, what will happen?
No, I didn't got your question. Can you repeat your question?
A single user, so
Yeah.
data we did not map, right? Since it's only single record, we did not map the data. Since it's not
No,
allowing to map also.
yeah, it is not allowing to map, right? Yeah. Okay, you are
In
talking about
case,
this data, right?
yeah. So it doesn't, Oracle doesn't allow to map, but in response, we got 2 records, like same record is repeated. Then will it fail or will it concatenate
No.
and
So
display
the
the data?
yeah, so the thing is, right? It will never come because the data is coming in the REST API, right?
Hmm.
So this will return always only one only. It will not return two.
Yeah, if it returns only one, then no issue.
Yeah, because in REST API, right? It is designed in such a way that okay, it will return only one.
Hmm.
Because if it will return two, right? What will happen, right? This will become the array, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is not designed in that array, right? Because these one, right? Like it's kind of a predefined. These will
right.
never change that okay, it can come 2, it can come 3. If it will come 2, 3, right? So that will go and define as a this one array, it will be defined.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we know scenarios, right? There'll be duplicate records in the database and
Correct. So
something funny comes.
yeah, so those things, right, will be taken care. Suppose in the REST API, right, it will be taken care that okay, it will return one record only. In case if you wanted to check also, right, like this is not the scenario where duplicates will come, but like suppose maybe in the query or somewhere, right, you will write and it will come the duplicates, right? So
Hmm.
there you need to write that logic that okay, if it is already existing, right? So we don't need to.
Okay.
Any other questions
So-
if we have?
So Prashant, so the difference is set parameter you will get one value and query you will get multiple. That's the difference, right?
Set parameter?
Yeah, when you use a set parameter
Yeah,
for
these
a single
parameters, right? Yeah,
single data, single record.
yeah, single records.
For a query, you will get array, like multiple records.
No. It's not like that one.
Okay.
If you want, right, same
Mhm.
can come here also. It's not like
Okay.
okay, suppose this API slash user slash page, right? So they have defined
Mhm.
in the query parameter. It is just a way of defining two different things. There's no relation with the parameter response. That okay,
Okay.
query parameter will return the response in multiple. No, it's not like. It's like they just define only the thing which we need to is like suppose some customer will define the endpoint into this way. Some customer can go and define the endpoint into this way, right? So that time we don't have to confuse, right? Because if you see, right, to configure this one, right, we need to change, right? We need to put into the URL only, right? So only the implementation is going to be different. But if you want, like suppose if the client has exposed array here, right? So it can come array here also. So this array
Okay.
is not related to this one. It's completely independent. Only the thing is like the way of defining the REST API only.
Okay. So
It
when do
is a
you use
parameter on,
usually? When do you
yeah.
use these? Like when do you use set parameter? Like what? When do you use query parameter? Then in that case,
Okay, no. So
they
it's
both are
not like
set.
we will use, right? Yeah, both
Mhm.
are functionality wise, right? Both are same.
Okay.
We will use based on the client. Suppose if client has exposed their REST API in this way, right? So we have to use the template parameter only, right?
Okay.
If
Okay. I
customer
see.
has used this, exposed the REST API into this way, right? So we have to use the query parameter, right? Because this
Yeah.
endpoint, right, I cannot call with the help of template parameter, right?
Okay. I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
that time, right? Because we don't know, right? Like client will use which method, right?
Yeah. 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 Got it.
So whichever method he will use, right? We need to accept that one, right?
Okay.
So that is what we have, right? If customer will
Okay.
expose in this way, we can use with the help of query parameter. If customer will use like this one, we can go and use with the help of template parameter.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions if we have? Okay. So if no questions, then I think we can go and wrap up the session today here only. If anyone has any questions, let me know. We can go and take those questions now. Anyone, any questions? Okay. If no question, then I think thank you all. We'll connect tomorrow, same time, and we'll see the continuation next topic.
Yeah, thank you.